Fabulous. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Foolish Friends podcast. My name is Bren. I use they, them pronouns, and today we are joined with the amazing Alanna. Did you want to introduce yourself with anything?
Hi, I'm Alanna.
And you also use they, them pronouns?
We also use they, them pronouns.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about ancestral astrology, and we're going to be doing a deep dive into Alanna's family charts. Alanna has been so kind to provide a bunch of family charts from obviously your family, and we're going to just like investigate some patterns. And ultimately, our goal with this is so you, the viewer, can be inspired to maybe do some of this ancestry work yourself, look at patterns, comparisons between your chart and your ancestors' chart, including mostly family members like parents, siblings, grandparents, and if you even have more charts than that in the family, feel free to explore those as well. But we're kind of just going through a model of like what kind of things we can look for, and also use our intuition to guide us towards investigating what we need to at the time that we do these investigations, because as we know, probably astrology charts can have so much depth, and so we don't need to be addressing every single thing in a chart at all the time, at all times. Usually what you naturally gravitate to in a chart is what you're needing to pay attention to at the time of an analysis of that. So as we usually do, we are going to start with a tarot card pull. So I'm going to pull a card for myself and my ancestors, and I'm also going to pull a card for Alanna and Alanna's ancestors. So we'll get two cards. That's what I'm thinking. But also I did do candle magic for us. Hopefully you can see it kind of. And the intention of the candle magic for us today was just to bring in benevolent advice and support from our ancestors during this time. So this can not only help us uncover some things about ourselves, but also you, the viewer, and maybe spark again some like investigation or inspiration to you doing some more of this work yourself. So I do want to just say as well that my ancestor altar is right behind me here. And so I just feel, I usually do these recordings with you, Alanna, like with my ancestor altar in the background. So I always feel like my ancestors are with me personally. So I'm just really grateful to share that with you all. And, at the end of the day, we are our ancestors. So the more we can understand them, the more that we can understand ourselves, because that's literally who we come from. So did you have anything you wanted to add, Alanna, before I start drawing some cards for us?
No, I feel a little bit struck by this, like we are just so deeply like where we come from and who we come from, and doing that work is absolutely like a seeking power through self-knowledge kind of thing. I'm just remembering I was recently doing a tarot reading, and the person just kind of turned towards asking me why I work with tarot, and like, I told them I mostly work with astrology, and they were like asking me why, and I'm like, well, I'm just trying to find out things about my ancestors. Not in like this way that we're going to do today, but more like trying to uncover a spirituality that existed before Christianity, essentially. Of like, let me seek really far back people. So I haven't really connected until very recently, like, oh, all of astrology is me doing ancestor work.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of us recently have really been uncovering that too, just with Jupiter in Cancer. Cancer is known as the zodiac for the home. And you do have Cancer placements. You've got,
I've got some Cancer placements.
Your Venus and your Mars, most notably, and your Chiron and your South Node. But yeah. So I would say that that's probably, just igniting a little bit more inspiration and just us collectively. I've noticed that it's not just us that's been kind of like more interested in ancestry at this time. So great thing to uncover. Well, did you have an intention or anything you wanted to ask the cards today for this? I was just saying like channeling your ancestral wisdom, but if there is something else you wanted to uncover.
No. A question I've been asking with cards recently is that when I want to when I'm searching for something, or like I have an intention to like do an act, I've been asking a lot, what do I need to hold in my heart as
Mhm.
I ask this question? You know, what do I need to hold in my heart as I explore this topic?
Oh, I love that you're saying that, because I've been getting a lot of messages, and I actually just wrote a song that basically is saying, like, are you listening to what your heart's saying? Because it often communicates without words. And
Mm-hmm.
being such a mercurial person, like identifying a lot of things with words, like just remembering that there's also a lot of wisdom that comes from the body and without words. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, wonderful. And I did also want to just say that this podcast is being recorded on April 29th, 2026. And we did start the recording at 9:19 a.m. Mountain Specific time. MST. How about we just say that? But yeah, just holding that in your heart. I'm going to pick a card for you, but just essentially what your ancestors want you to hold in your heart during this process is what I got from what you wanted to share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The card that we got here is the Three of Pentacles. And let me talk a little bit about this deck too, really quick, because this deck is called the After Tarot. So this is just like the imagery is explaining what happens right after the moment of like the traditional tarot. So in this image, it's like someone actually alone. Usually there's like three people in the Three of Pentacles, and now
Mm-hmm.
this person's alone, and there's like a piece of craftsmanship that now has been completed from the collaboration that came through.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you and I were talking
That's
about,
so, like, that just hurt my brain a little bit. I've been reading through like a tarot handbook, and I was just reading the Three of Pentacles. Like that's the last card I just read about, because I like to read as like the first thing I do in the morning. And that's like, I was like, that's the Three of Pentacles, but that's not what I was just looking at. But like the art is so on, it's on Waite's style so well, or
yeah,
Smith's style.
this deck is really neat to like uncover that.
Mhm.
And they also have like a before tarot that I also really want to get, because sometimes I'll have like my
Whoa.
own image of like what happens after, and then when I got this deck, it's not always aligned with what I thought after, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I
So
feel like
how are you like reading this card in this moment?
for you, I would
Mhm.
say that you're in this moment of like building. And like Three of Pentacles to me really symbolizes building, not only with yourself and independently, but with people behind you. And I feel like this is so perfect for the ancestry work, this deck in particular, because
Mhm.
here you are as the person
Mhm.
who's then like making the masterpiece, but who are you collaborating with? All of the ancestors that came before you, you know?
Mhm.
And so I just feel like, yes, maybe you're alone in a certain kind of way because you're independently moving through your life, but also that work could have, like, your masterpiece of your life cannot have been conceived without the help of your ancestors and where you come from. You know, you come from a line of, we all really do. We come from a line of survivors. And
Mhm.
so just remembering that like your ancestors have been through hard times, so you can make it through hard times, or times. I know before the podcast recording, we were talking about how Uranus is currently hitting your sun, and like
Mhm.
how that can be really dysregulating. And so this is just a reminder that you've got some stability here, like, you know, that earthy
Mhm.
pentacle energy, and you're collaborating not only with yourself, but with your ancestors. And additionally, you have a lot of um, earthly allies
Mm.
are also assisting you. You know, who are you building your life with as well? Like, I know you have your partner and you have like a household of like lovely animals and people that also are building or helping you build the life that you desire. And
Mhm.
even like your clients and things like that. You were talking about an exciting new client that you have. And so I feel like this is just a reminder that like you're not alone and you're creating this masterpiece of life. Like it's right before your eyes.
Mm.
It's just
Thank you.
sometimes when we're so dysregulated, uh,
Yeah.
is again with that like Uranus energy.
Oh God, describing a Uranus contact as dysregulating is like the kindest, most accurate way to put it in the same moment of like, let's put it really lightly, but like exactly, exactly on the head. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was telling you a little earlier too how I see Uranus as like electrical currents that
Mhm.
send and like throb. I just think of like Uranus as like just like, yeah, an electrical current. So when you're least expecting it, you never know when the current is gonna like zap you. It's kind of like static, like, you know, with your when you're petting your cat or like you're wearing socks on the carpet or something. It's like, ooh, little shock in there. That's what I think
Uh-huh.
of awareness. So just know that like those little shocks ultimately are leading to your liberation. And we are going to be talking about your chart as well. But with this in your 10th house as well, that is an ancestral house that we're going to talk about. And it just seems like what maybe you were taught to know in childhood or from your ancestors, because you can inherit things that are helpful, but also you can inherit things that are less helpful. And so I do see you breaking the system in certain ways to create the life that you desire rather than a life that someone else wanted for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's society as well, you know. So did you have any other thoughts or
No, no, that was beautiful. Thank
wonderful?
you.
You're so
Yeah.
welcome. It's a great card. And it's fruitful. I do feel like that
Yeah.
is especially like earthly. You've got your needs met. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see this card for you.
I would love to get a card with the same
Mm,
intention about just listening, following my heart, and having that in mind moving forward and the wisdom of my ancestors through this session with you. And I have the 7 of Swords here.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. He's got this rope. Is he stepping into a trap?
It looks like he might be.
Because this looks even more similar to like the Smith-Waite deck than the other card does.
It does.
Like really the only difference I'm seeing is that rope.
Yeah, because I usually see this card as like, yes, it's a trap. It's not guaranteed. You're like, I think of this card as like running with scissors. It's like you're not guaranteed
Mhm.
to hurt yourself, but
Mhm.
it's a lot more dangerous. You're more at risk.
Yeah.
We're talking about swords. I also think about that's the mind and communication. So I
Yeah.
feel like this is an invitation to maybe remember that. I don't know. I'm also feeling like trickster energy. Yeah. What are you feeling? You seem like you have something.
I reading through this book that I've been going through recently, I started appreciating the like spirituality element of the suit of swords. Yeah, I feel like spirituality lives with swords. It's in the air element, you know?
Really? That's so interesting.
I mean, like I think it's more there than I had given it credit for.
Sure.
So
Totally.
like to, don't run with scissors while we hold like this like kind of like very spiritual, intellectual um topic together.
Yeah. What is that book that you've been reading
I
with
just I just it's the tarot handbook. Hang on. I'm sorry. I gotta show
No
you.
worries. I want to see because I've been reading like the 78 Secrets or something. It's another tarot book too that has been really helpful and uncovers tarot again. Like I experienced tarot as like in readings and I've done my research, but okay, we've got the new tarot handbook here.
Yeah, Rachel Pollack. Yeah, it's I literally like I was cat sitting for my friend and I was like, "Oh, look at this." And I open it up. And it's actually like really it feels really like it's a short little like one page about each card, but it feels really like really deeply insightful in a way that like I feel like a lot of descriptions of them are just like, here's what it is, instead of like, let's dive into the image itself and like really work with the image and what the previous card and next card are. And like,
The whole story of the tarot.
yes, the whole story. Yeah.
Because you're right, it's not isolated to one card. And maybe that's also what this card, the 7 of Swords, is trying to say. The advice is like, don't also be so narrow with, because I do readings all the time, a lot of the times, like, and they're very fast paced. So I can often default to a stereotypical what I usually see in that card, and there's always new layers and new things to be seen, especially with different artworks and different decks. And that's why I have a bunch of decks to see different perspectives. But I really like that you said that about the spirituality thing with this card, because I don't usually see it that way. But also ancestrally, I come from the Romani people, and there's like a circus over here, and I kind of think like nomadic people who were outsiders in society in a lot of ways. And I do feel like I come from, and I think a lot of us do, like, you know, outsiders or nomadic peoples that, yeah, there's just like a lot of, there's even like stuff going on in the background over here. There's like people joining in with like smoke, like maybe they're around a fire or something. So maybe like I'm in the forefront with my spirituality and being like, these are my beliefs, but really remembering that it's a trap to only be focused on my story. Really remembering that my story is only, it can only be informed by also who's around me and like where I come from.
Yeah.
Cool. Wonderful. Well, we've got a couple odd numbers. We've got earth and we've got air. Very cool. Well,
Wow, to do a reading for this Gemini Virgo.
That's so, oh my gosh, so on point. Love that. I love that. How do you feel about Gemini Virgo energy together? Because they're both ruled by the planet Mercury, and one's earth element, one's air, and they are both mutable signs, but they also, that means that they're squaring each other. So yeah, did you want to say anything about those two signs really quick as a person who is both Virgo and Gemini?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're really impactful spaces in my chart, right? Like that's my ascendant and my midheaven, my moon and my sun. You know, like these are facets of me that both work on similar levels, but also push each other. And I will say that I'm just always on brand.
With both, or
like just the mercurialness of all of it is like I can't put that down. Like if I'm playing with my phone, it's because I'm fixing my calendar, you know.
I love that.
Like I want to get things organized so that I have time to go talk to everyone. You know, like there's a lot of like pressure to know all the details of all the things. And yeah, I don't know. I think that things that square each other are not bad. I don't think that's a difficult energy. I think that's like a pushing energy.
Yes, I think it can be a constructive energy. It can be destructive, but we need resistance in order to like gain muscles, for example. Like we can't get
exactly. Like how are you going to be strong if you're never lifting anything heavy? So
when I think about like trines and how that can be so easy that you never grow.
I think trines are just like, oh, everything's so easy that I'm just gonna fall into like kind of bad patterns because I don't have to try.
Yeah, or it's easy
like,
for you to get away with stuff.
Yeah. Or like kind of self-enabling.
Totally.
Yeah. But I would think that because my chart is full of squares.
Well, let's take a look, please.
Great.
Allow us.
Yeah, I will pull up my chart.
Yes, Alanna is a Gemini sun, 0 degrees, a Virgo moon at 11 degrees, and a Virgo rising at 8 degrees. So you are indeed, all three of your main placements are mercurial. So that makes complete sense to have such a strong relationship with Mercury. And your Mercury is also in Taurus in the 9th house at 6 degrees. And we're going to be using whole signs just for the audience to know, but you can get deeper information if you wanted to use a different house system. You're totally welcome to. There's sometimes more that can be revealed through that. But just remember, I don't know, whole sign just seems it's so simple. So if you're a beginner, I definitely recommend just simplify it, make it easier, and then you can add more complexity when you feel more confident.
Here I am.
Well, you have a beautiful chart here. And as we, kind of covered, you're very mercurial. So the thing that's like really standing out to me when I look at like ancestral astrology, things that I am most drawn to are, of course, the sun, moon, and rising. Those can be inherited features. Traditionally, the sun does represent the father, the moon represents the mother. And the reasoning behind that is like the moon is like fluids. We literally share fluids with our, incubator, which is usually our mom, and so that's why the moon is often associated with that. And then the sun is like our, like the person who gives us like a sense of not purpose necessarily, but like the guidance of like assertiveness and like how do you want to like go about your life, which can be, again, traditionally modeled by the father.
Mm.
And so those are first things. And I also really like to see the fourth house. The fourth house is like our roots, where we come from, our past, our childhoods. And that obviously will define how we then project ourselves in that 10th house later in life when we grow up, and how people see us, because we have to have the roots or foundation in order for us to grow and branch out. And if we have toxic root systems or issues with that, it could be harder for us to branch out in ways that are healthy in that 12th house, or excuse me, in that 10th house.
Mm.
So I just want to ask you right off the
Mhm.
bat, that you know your chart the best. Are there anything that like, is there anything in your chart that you wanted to touch on in relation to your family or patterns that you know?
With my family stuff, like, oh yeah, you're gonna see this like crazy overlap between me and my mom's chart, and then both of us with my brother. Um, my dad's rising being Gemini, like him and his mom, Taurus moon. Like I just feel like there's so many rhymes in all of this. Like
Mhm.
my mom has an earth moon, earth sun. Her mom has an earth moon, earth sun. And I have this like perfect trine between my sun placement and my mom's dad's sun placement, where like when I was growing up, the like my grandma is a Taurus sun, and so she just for someone who grew up like primitive Baptist, she really liked astrology. And she just decided I was on the cusp, obviously, but like I'm a Taurus. We
Mm.
didn't look it up on a computer. I don't think I knew for sure I was a Gemini sun until I was an adult. And it wasn't until I looked up my grandfather's chart that anyone ever realized that he was not a Virgo, he was a Libra.
Ooh, just like right on that edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you, it seems like, have ancestrally some anaretic degrees stuff going on, where like it's either at the very beginning of a sign or the very end
Mhm.
of a sign, which can
Mhm.
be a karmic lesson of either starting a new cycle or completing a cycle,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And it seems like you, with that 0 degrees Gemini, you're starting a cycle.
Yeah. It does feel like that lately.
Definitely, especially with Uranus right on top of that right now. It
Ugh.
exacted early last night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So shakeups, when we're talking about Uranus, shaking things up, liberation, that sun, the purpose, and how you show up in your life, career, things like that.
Yeah.
Also approaching your MC, that's even deepening that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was saying before we started recording, I'm just like feeling like the last year has just been so impactful into like how I'm putting myself out into the world. Like
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm bringing a different person into the world all the time. So yeah, do we want to see um the transits?
Sure. This is today,
This is today.
right now, right here, right now. Oh, and Venus. I forgot that Venus is right
Yeah.
too. So hopefully she's sweetening the pot a little bit, but also that could just be relationship oriented or money oriented,
Mm,
as your second house ruler is Venus.
yeah.
Do you feel like that, like you've had any shifts with your values or relationship values?
I feel like I've had a lot of confirmation of my values in the last few months of
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I was right. This is what I think, and this is how I want to act. So, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's beautiful. Well, I'm really also interested in seeing your, maybe we start with your mom. That's who
Okay.
I'm feeling most drawn to because do you feel like, just so us in the audience knows, like in your upbringing, did you feel like your mom was a traditional figure of a mother, like showing up as like, I don't know, a stay-at-home mom, or was she more ambitious and like a worker?
I mean, she and my dad split up when I was really young, right? So she worked and like owned her own house, like, and it was her, working to support an entire household.
Mm,
Um, Obviously, like my dad showed up with the like court ordered kind of like child support stuff, but um, it's a lot of work to work full time and keep up a house and take care of like two kids. I mean, my brother was still like we were so young, my brother was like still like being carried around
mhm.
like a little baby. Um, I
Well,
was definitely
yeah.
toddler when we got that house. So yeah. But yeah, here's her chart. You see that 8 degrees Virgo moon.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't we overlay that on your chart?
Yeah, let's get
But I'm
okay.
also seeing she has some anaretic degree stuff going on
Mhm.
with Neptune and Saturn, Neptune being at 0 degrees Scorpio, Saturn at 29 degrees Scorpio. And then you were talking about, yeah, you inherited your moon from your mom, which that's really the question that I was asking is like, are you inheriting the moon from which parent or where
Mhm.
are you inheriting it? And it seems pretty obvious because your moon is so close to your mom's moon placement that you did
Mhm.
inherit that from her. And, like you
I
said,
mean, you see that rising.
yes.
I'm on the outer ring right now. I can flip that if that's confusing, but
Oh, no, that makes sense to me. Hopefully our viewers understand that. Yeah, Alana's in the inside ring. Or
yeah.
no, Charlotte, your mom is in the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then she has this I'm just noticing like this first degree Jupiter.
Also in Virgo.
Yeah.
Well, on
And then
top,
first degree Uranus.
there was
Uh,
another one too.
0 degree Neptune,
hmm
29 degrees Saturn. Yeah. Yeah, that's I hadn't noticed how many of those there are in here.
hmm Yeah, there's a lot going on. Well, and I wanted to go back to the Virgo energy that's going on in
Mhm.
that 11th house for her. Virgo is symbolically, I think of Virgo as like one of the healers of the zodiac, but less of the spiritual healing like Pisces, but more of like the physical service kind of element of Virgo. And you kind of explaining that how your mom had to show up in your childhood as like, okay, she's a divorced single mom, basically. Yeah, she might
Mhm.
be getting some financial help or whatever, but really she has to do it herself.
Mhm.
I wonder if because your rising is Virgo, so close to that moon, that
Mhm.
you inherently are showing up in a way that was modeled to you in your upbringing from your mom, in that way of like, oh, I have to be of service, or oh, I have to be the one to get things done. Would you say that that's true?
I think that like I'm interested to throw my grandma, my mom's mom in here as well because um my grandma is the person who made it possible for my mom to do as much mom things as she did. Like
Can
my
we
grandma
throw
would
in
come to
a third
her.
thing?
Yeah, we can do it. We can see how confusing this gets.
Okay,
Um,
layer upon layer. And as y'all can see, ancestral astrology goes so deep.
it goes so deep. And then yeah, so here's my grandma. I feel like maybe we want to reorder it so it's like maybe I'll put myself in the very center and then my mom in the middle and then my grandma all the way out here. So we
Mhm.
can get like a progression. Um,
Absolutely.
but oh yeah, look at my grandma has that 0 degree Neptune as well.
And this is, I
in a
mean,
different
this
sign, but
mom,
obviously,
mom.
yeah, my mom's mom.
Okay, cool. Just to be clear, maternal grandmother, it wouldn't really make sense if it wasn't like that, but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so my grandma is who like showed up every morning when I was in elementary school and like got me ready to go catch the bus, and like that's who I got dropped, like I would get dropped off at her house after school. Like she's
Mm,
definitely like a full additional like parent. I know like a lot, I feel like a lot of people my age are like, yeah, I saw my grandparents like once a month, or like we took a
mhm.
vacation and saw them for a long weekend, like around like Christmas or Easter. I'm like, no, I saw my grandma literally every day, like
Yeah.
every day. So,
Wow. Well, and how do you see grandparents in the chart? Would you say that's the ninth house, third house?
oh, I hadn't really, is that one of the like derived? Um, is that,
I don't know if that's derived.
I
I
don't know
guess
if I've heard of
good.
that as a meaning. So,
Could see that. But if it's like everyday kind of thing, that does seem like a third house kind of thing. But also it could be fourth
that's
house home
wonder,
where you come from.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of these things bleed into each other.
yeah, definitely.
But I do love what I was reading in some of the ancestral books that I've been studying is that some things can skip a generation. And I really love that I'm seeing for you that like your Neptune is in a sextile with your grandmother's Neptune. And it's not like an exact, it's like within, yeah, there's like you or your mom.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they have a sextile.
you have a trine though. No,
And I
but
have a trine. Yeah, I have a trine with my grandma and a sextile with my mom.
oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I suppose I,
Yeah, but like also look at this, look at their sun and moon right here.
wow. Were
Yeah.
they close? You and your mom and your grandma?
Yeah, like I mean they had a pretty normal like kid mom relationship of like my mom was a teenager once. You know, they didn't like love each other forever, but like when like like later in life, they were very, very close. They talked all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like like, you know, I would get I would get dropped off at my grandma's house and my mom would get home at like 6 p.m. And I would be like, I want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see my cat. I want to play with my toys. And my
Yeah.
mom would be like, in a minute. And we like they talk for like an hour or
Mm.
I don't know. But yeah, they were I don't even know what they were talking about. They were just on and on and on and on and on.
Well, when we're talking about talking, I like to look at Mercury. They both have Earth Mercuries, so that is an in sign at least trine. They're not like perfectly a
Oh
trine.
my God. But look at this. I hadn't noticed.
Oh my gosh, you literally inherit. That's what I'm saying about skipping a
Yeah.
generation. You literally inherited your Mercury from your grandma,
Yeah.
and that makes perfect sense too
Makes so
because
much sense.
you spent so much time with her in your upbringing.
Yeah. I fully like am I know that a lot of like patterns in my brain definitely fall under the like very autistic spectrum kind of things. And I think about it and I'm like, I know I would say my dad is autistic, but like I'm the same flavor as my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Like that woman knew every bird call,
Wow.
right? And she could like whistle it back to them. Like
Wow.
incredible.
Has your grandmother, is she still living?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry to
No.
hear that.
Yeah, she passed in 2013. So
Wow. Wow. And how did that impact you and the family dynamic? I mean, you were older by that point. You were
yeah,
probably,
I was 22, 20. Yeah, I was 22 that year. I had gone home. I took care of her in her last like I think like 9 months of her life. I was her primary caregiver. Um, and I'm so grateful that I did that. So yeah, I
wow.
got to hear so many stories. She forgot how old she was. You know, she thought she was like in her mid 50s and she was like flirting with my mom's boyfriend. And
Oh
like,
my
I'm a girl too, you know?
God.
But she told me all these stories about like growing up on a farm and um yeah.
And
She's
what a huge
very funny.
generational gap, you being born in the 90s. 91, you're born literally 60 years on the dot from your grandmother because you both are May babies.
Hmm. Yeah, 60 years and what, 15 days?
Yeah. So I feel like that's another rhyming kind of thing. Like you had such a different upbringing from your grandma, but also things rhyme.
She would like stand at a light switch and be like, I'll never get over it. Like turn the light on and off.
For what?
Well, she didn't have running water in the house. She didn't have electricity in the house. You
Oh,
know, like it was really rural there. I don't know the timeline of like when each area of the country got like electrified, but it didn't happen until she was in her 20s that
wow.
she lived in a house that had electricity.
Wow.
And so as she was like kind of losing a lot of memory and like not knowing like what year it was, she kind of like went back to this time of like still being so fascinated with it.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that I was thinking about when you said that is that sometimes, like something that I read was that sometimes when our parents or our ancestors, your grandma, if there's like a year that something really big happens, sometimes that can also reverberate for you. So I'm wondering if you know if your mom or your grandma had like a really significant event happen in one of their years of life, then that's something really
Mhm.
significant happened for you when you turned that age as well.
My first thought is that my grandma did lose one of her sisters, died in childbirth.
Mm,
So, and she was in her like early 20s. Her sister was. So, and my grandma was like not the youngest, but like I think the third youngest of eight.
wow, that's a
So
lot.
she must have been like a teenager when her sister passed.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I wish I knew. I should ask my mom if she knows what year. Um,
Yeah, just seeing patterns or like even the year you were born, like how old was your mom? Like, were you born when she was 20 something? And then also when your grandma was that same age, did they
mm,
have a kid?
so I was born when my mom was 35.
Hmm.
So I'm turning 35 this year.
Well,
So
I don't know if
I'm finally as old as she was.
are you thinking of having kids? I mean, I'm assuming you can't have a kid now by that time. Well, your turn. Yeah, you could, I guess, but that's probably not on your docket of things to do.
Yeah, I don't have that money.
To raise a kid, that's a luxury.
It sounds hard. It sounds ultimately rewarding, and it sounds expensive,
Hmm.
you know.
Well, I
And
would, if I were you, I would just take note. I know you're about to turn 35. Maybe this next year ahead, you just take stock of what might shift for you that maybe isn't a child because you're the first child, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it might not be you literally having a child, but it could be maybe you birth a new business or something happens in your life that changes everything. Because when you have a child, that changes everything, especially
yeah.
one.
It changes like who you are. I think a lot about how my mom, she's a Scorpio rising, and she had two kids while Scorpio. So like in my chart, right? We've got Pluto in Scorpio. And then my mom has, her rising, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, like a bunch of stuff here. Like she has the ruler of her first house in her first house. And as Pluto is like flirting with Mars here, she has two kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because my brother's like only 2 years younger than me. So Pluto was still in Scorpio, like not even to her Saturn placement yet.
Totally. It could have
So
been,
that's
yeah, you're
huge redefinition of self.
well, and continuously too, because
Yeah.
whenever there's transits to that, it seems like it could activate you and your your brother and you can activate her in ways that are transforming still,
Yeah.
because that process doesn't actually end.
Yeah.
Wow. This is so neat. I really love that there's the moon sun conjunction between your mom and her mom.
Hmm.
Especially like it seems like they both had to be like harder working and show up in certain masculine roles as feminines.
Yeah, I mean, so this is something I feel I have in relation to my grandma, right? My grandma at 23 moved from her like rural little town up to Baltimore. You'll notice my mom and I were both born in Baltimore.
Yes.
And then in Baltimore for 25 years, my grandma ran a watch and clock and jewelry repair shop. So it was in my grandpa's name, but like my grandma was running it.
Yeah.
She was the one that like did all the numbers and talked to all the customers, and
Mhm.
so I feel like this kind of parallel with her in that I work for myself and I'm the one in my house that like looks at like our budget and stuff like that.
Totally. Well, and as you being like also a gender non-conforming person, I feel like, at least for me in my experience, a lot of like what I witnessed growing up, like my mom she did wear the pants in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, my
Mhm.
dad went and worked. That was traditional, but also my mom was a disciplinarian a lot of the time and like had to do a lot of like the decision making, and she loved it. She was the boss, you know? And so I think that ingrained in me being socialized female, like, oh, this is how females show up. But then that like confused me, being like, oh, not all females actually traditionally in our society do show up as quote unquote wearing the pants or whatever. So for me personally, in my gender journey, I did claim different parts of my parents, but I feel like the roles were a little confusing for me because some traditional things were right or like were in alignment with what traditionally was happening around me, but also a lot wasn't at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, just getting exposed to that. Yeah, that's definitely part of like I think if my grandma was born in my generation, she one would have been diagnosed autistic, but also would not be like out here with like the clean girl makeup and the
Mm-hmm.
like trendy stuff. She honestly iconic sense of fashion. Okay. Her little kid sneakers, her just every day in some denim jeans, t-shirt, flannel over that every day.
Yeah.
Always wore like a watch, maybe one like really big ring.
Wow.
Great. I find myself like channeling her fashion all the time lately.
Wow. Well, and that's something you can do to honor your ancestors too. It's like, wow, iconic. I want to be iconic too. I'm going to claim that. And that's how our ancestors lived through us. You know, she might have passed on in this earthly realm, but she still lives within you because of all the influence that she had
Mhm.
on you.
Mhm.
Imagine all the ancestors who have influence on us that we don't even know.
We have no idea because it's like my grandma's grandma, you know, what was
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that she said to her,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Of course, my grandma's grandma probably had like 50 grandkids.
Yeah.
So she probably didn't get to know her as well as I got to know my grandma. Because my
Mm-hmm.
grandma has 3 grandkids.
Yeah. So she could
So,
spend more like one-on-one time with you
yeah,
guys. Yeah.
yeah. My brother and I in particular just got a ton of her time in a way that like I don't think previous generations necessarily got of their grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Could we trade out your chart with your brothers? I
Ooh,
see
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's influenced. And, you know, when we're socialized a certain gender, you know, you being socialized female, your brother being socialized male, I
Mhm.
wonder too what inheritances might show up differently because of that or similarities. And it looks like during your mom's nodal return, your brother was born.
Yeah, yeah, and you'll see this when we pull up my dad's, as I was born during my dad's nodal return.
Wow.
So
So
we
there's,
we we share that.
yeah.
I did not notice this until it switched around here
I just
at
saw
my
that.
my grandma has this, that
Whoa.
we're like talking about her and like posting a lot of her like life story on the internet during her like Jupiter return.
Whoa.
Um,
And
yeah,
let me pull up your chart really quick again on my phone because I have it here. I wanted to know what Cancer placements you have
that's really close to my Venus.
because we could have seen
Yeah.
that before, but yeah. So
I mean, to be fair, we didn't put mine like right next to my grandma's. We have my mom's in here. But
that's true. Oh yeah, your Venus is at 13 degrees of Cancer, and bada bing, bada boom. Like both of the benefics coming together, like you probably have a really great, beautiful connection with her. And I
yeah.
wonder, like through this Cancer, like Jupiter transit this past year, if like her presence, even subconsciously within you, has been operating.
The last time Jupiter was in Cancer was 2013.
Uh-huh. Oh, and that's when she passed away.
That's the year that I went home to take care of her.
Oh,
And she passed at the end of that year. So she and I spent that year together. I never connected this. That was her Jupiter return.
wow. Well, not
Oh,
only that,
so
Pluto too, which is a
yeah,
sign also associated with like transformation and death.
yeah, definitely.
Not that I like
But I
that.
I wanted to point out, here's my brother in the middle ring now, and my brother and my mom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he inherited the mother-child symbiosis with the sun and the moon because your mom and her mom had that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he inherited that
Mm-hmm.
understanding, like his masculinity or his, like, I hate to say that, like, I hate to, it gets so much more complicated than that, but it's also like, what words do I use? But
Yeah.
like his identity,
I like to think more of like the active principle and the like receptive principle.
definitely.
Like it doesn't like I don't like to say the passive either,
Yeah,
personally, because that's not action, but to receive is action
totally.
itself. It's just a different kind of anyway. Yeah, I feel like my mom's connection with my grandma and my mom's connection with my brother definitely is a different thing than my connection with her.
Mm,
Like it's my mom and I have a very different like kind of connection. Like, I mean, my brother still lives in her house, like they'll probably always live in the same house. Um,
your brother and your mom.
yeah, he's very unwell.
Oh,
Um, I think that Neptune, let's just look at his chart for a second because he has this Neptune Uranus
conjunction.
conjunction here at his descendant, and then we had um when we had Pluto going through Capricorn is when he started really showing signs of he has schizoaffective disorder.
Mhm.
And so it really came out hard during that time. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah. And then that was kind of like a similar time of like Neptune going through Pisces and like coming up and like this confusion, like
Mhm.
being like what he shows like out into the world with his midheaven up here and his
Wow.
moon, all that confusion that he felt while having Pluto do all this stuff with how he sees with how he's like meeting other people. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it came up really, really hard. And then Capricorn just being a theme, like here we are, here's his Capricorn stuff. We've got
Mhm.
Capricorn,
All within
here's
1 degree.
their sun and moon, right? My mom's sun, my grandma's moon, his sun, my mom's moon over here, like echoing that, really deeply trined.
Earthy. Yeah.
This is hell. Um, and then their stuff is right on his descendant.
Mhm.
So God, I hadn't noticed how closely that is to his descendant.
Well, and I'm thinking about like the descendant as like our mirror. Like our ascendant is who we are, and then the descendant is the mirror to us. And the mirror of the feminine or the, receptive, also I'm feeling is also maybe an illusion for him specifically because of also maybe the divorce that he experienced when your parents got divorced, and like feeling maybe confused on top of already issues that he might have with perceiving the other in a way that might not actually be accurate, or perceiving things that might not actually be there.
Yeah. And they were such a strong presence on him, right? Like my mom and my grandma, to be this like, they're shining so much on like what he should be seeing as a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like almost giving him too much information in this space of like what he should be getting as like a reflection back to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like all that light kind of distorts the image that he receives.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and if we think about a new moon with the sun and the moon, like if his primary caregivers growing up was your mom and your grandma,
Mm-hmm.
that's a new moon that they're both operating at. And you know what happens at a new moon is that the sky is dark when it's night.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
Mm-hmm.
see anything. You can see stars and stuff, but maybe like that, like night and day is just very much like severe, of like when it's dark, it's very dark. When it's light,
Yeah.
it's too light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, another thing I noticed that's actually similar between you and your brother is that you both have a luminary conjunct your midheaven. Your sun
Mhm.
is super close to your midheaven, and his moon is super close to his.
Mhm. Yeah.
And those are both parental energies.
Yeah.
And so influence, and Pisces being a little bit more of an illusion energy, and Gemini being more clear, I would say. But they are squaring each other.
Mhm.
Uh, Pisces and Gemini.
Mhm.
Oh, and his south node's at 7 degrees Gemini. Doesn't that conjunct your
Yeah, that's 2 degrees away from my
midheaven?
midheaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Here we can pull up me and him.
Oh, and his rising is Cancer. So his moon, yeah, wow. His ascendant and his moon are squaring. Well, obviously, but well, the midheaven.
Well, they're yeah, his ascendant and yeah, there's a trine between ascendant and moon. You
What's
know,
your
I have
what's your relationship with him? Because you also have your moon or his sun. Yeah, your moon conjunct his sun.
yeah. We've been, in different times of life, we've been like had like very different relationships.
Okay.
At different points we were like really close. At other points we were like very competitive, like when we were like really young. And now I just like miss him. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's hard to yeah, I'm worried I'm airing out too much of his stuff by talking about his illness. It
Sure.
just in a lot of ways feels like he like my brother that was here when I was a kid isn't really here anymore. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, to kind of like redirect so we don't.
So I don't cry because I'm gonna
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
well,
I
I mean
appreciate you sharing this.
that's the reality of it. And I know that I'm not alone in this. I know that there's so many people who have this like really particular kind of grief, right? Of like having a family member that's still here but isn't really here anymore. And it's not even necessarily like gonna be the same kind of illness as what my brother has. We lose a lot of our people before they're gone, to addiction,
Mm,
to, plenty of things. So
absolutely. To religion, politics, belief systems.
yeah, to
Yeah.
to the internet.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So yeah, I know that's a common enough grief that I'm glad to get to talk about it, and I hope someone else hears this and feels a little less alone. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
but I really want to show you. Let me see. So here is. I'm gonna pull up my dad's chart in relation to mine.
You can put it on top of your brother's too, if you wanted.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Well, I feel like 3 charts is a lot of confusion, so we'll start slow.
Valid. Valid.
But like look at His Cancer up here. Oh my God, it's his Jupiter return too.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I noticed, wait, this is your dad's?
Yeah, that's my dad.
Is there a connection between your dad and your maternal grandma at all? Or similarities in that way?
Oh, I haven't.
Like, did
I've
they have a
never.
relationship?
Oh, they really did not like each other.
Ooh.
They don't. No. My grandma, like, they got married, and my grandma was like, "You can always get divorced."
Well, and they did.
And they did. Yeah.
Was he
And
around? I know you kind of touched on that, but was your dad like, I know you were mostly spending time with your mom and your grandma, but was he a caregiver for
oh
you?
yeah. They did the like split custody thing. We were there like every other weekend. And then when I was in high school, I moved to my dad's house. And that was actually the best time for me and my brother when
Mhm.
we lived in two separate houses, but we saw each other every weekend, right? Like
Yeah.
I would be at my dad's house to like go to school all week, but then either my brother would come over or I would go over to my mom's and then we would hang out. We were
Mhm.
like close enough in age that like we shared friends and like that was like probably the best time for me and my brother. But yeah, so I lived with my dad from like eighth grade till senior year of high school.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Well, and I'm also seeing that you're the inner ring. So your Mercury is on his moon, which is also on your
Hmm.
maternal grandma's
Hmm.
Mercury, right? Was it?
Yep.
Yeah. So I wonder, that's so interesting because usually when I see like synastry with moon and Mercury, it's pretty good, especially a conjunction, but they have a similarity of the same Jupiter and the same,
Sometimes we don't like people because we see ourselves in them. And
mm,
we're like, when we have like, when I don't like something about myself and I see it in someone else, I'm like, that
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's shadow stuff, you know? And
totally.
I'm actually noticing for the first time this like Venus, Jupiter, Jupiter, Venus moment.
Oh, well, and your brother's his Jupiter, he inherited that as well. His Leo.
Hang on. I put my grandma on there. Let me open up.
Oh, we could like talk forever about
I
this.
know.
Oh, her Saturn, your grandma's Saturn was on your dad's Chiron. So just FYI, that seems triggering. It's
Yeah, that seems really harsh.
yeah. So we've got your brother on the outer ring. So his Venus is the same Venus as your dad. He inherited that
Oh,
from your dad
really?
in the 12th house. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Venus, Venus, Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, all the benefics lined up. And then we have my Venus, Jupiter ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
We can't, actually, yeah, we have an accurate like birth certificate time for all three of these charts. So
Cool. Oh yeah. Was your
not
grandma?
true for my grandparents' charts, but
Right. Okay. Good to
but
know.
this is all birth certificate time. So
Wow. Well, and
yeah.
that's all in your 12th house. So there's something about your dad and your brother that, first of all, seems karmically linked for you, or
Mhm.
maybe even triggering too. The 12th house could either be illuminating or triggering, depending how
Mm.
their influence on you.
Well, just to kind of call back to our conversation on relocation charts, now that I've moved to the West Coast
Mm-hmm.
and Leo becomes my first house,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literal space, 3,000 miles away from these two characters in my life, I feel like I'm able to understand what was happening in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I like came over here and I was like, okay, let's move this into some place that I can see.
Wow. The
So
truth.
yeah,
Because it was hidden in that 12th house. Well,
yeah, yeah, and yeah.
that's amazing. Incredible. Wow. I feel like there's so many things we could cover. Because
Yeah.
also what I'm seeing is like Cancerian energy, your brother's ascendant Cancer conjunct your Venus, and then your dad's there's a lot going on there, but his south node
Yeah.
specifically too.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, my dad and I both have, I mean, all three of us have pretty loaded Cancer Capricorn axis stuff,
Mhm.
you know?
Which that is the mom and dad archetype, or like, the caregiver, the nurturer versus the provider energy. And I do see that as like something that I've seen in you, like really struggling with like, oh, I want to provide and serve and things like that, but also like that like receptive energy of also wanting to feel homey and receive.
Mm.
Do you feel like your dad struggles with that too, or?
Yeah. I mean, the theme of a lot of my like healing work lately has been exploring how some of my own kind of like inner wounds are just directly like I'm pulling like this is the intergenerational trauma through line is me from my dad, from his mom, probably from his dad, but I don't know anything about his dad. So, um yeah, the fact that like I mean, look at these nodes, you know, between me and my dad.
Oh yeah, you were born on his nodal return.
Yeah. So,
Well, nodes are associated with karmic
oh,
connections.
and during his Uranus opposition.
Oh, shaking things up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And these days, what's your relationship like with your dad? I know it's like better that you moved, but
we have not spoken since October 2023.
oh.
Yeah. So like I understand the relationship better now, and I also know that I can't have that relationship.
And is that like what you were saying earlier, like internet or like belief systems differing too much or too wide or?
No, no, like I feel a lot of like I have looked at our charts before, right? And I've looked at this Mercury moon, right? And let
Hmm.
me switch these around and show you. This is so my dad's in the middle in the inner ring now. And so we see he's got that Gemini rising and his moon is in his 12th house. So he's feeling stuff that he has no idea where it's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's right on top of my Mercury, which rules my whole life,
Right.
right? So his like really unseen, unprocessed kind of stuff, he never moved, like he moved all over the place, except he never left that time zone, right? So he's never lived in a place for a long period of time where his moon becomes visible to himself.
Right.
Um, And so all that unprocessed stuff, all that stuff he's not looking at, just dumped right on my whole chart ruler.
Wow.
So just to give you an idea of what that relationship feels like.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, that's as far as I've kind of gone in like looking at my chart with his chart of like I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna barf now. And I just like stopped looking at it. But
Wow. Well, did it give you at least any sort of comfort, at least knowing that there was like a tangible reason that you felt this distance or whatever with your father?
yeah, I mean, it felt like this perfect validation of how controlled I felt.
Mm.
You know, and I think that that's why when I look at my brother's chart and I notice that on his descendant is my mom's sun and my grandma's moon, I'm like, wow, that is a lot of like the other person's personality and stuff just like showing up in a place that is really sensitive for you.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, sometimes like this is just how I've come to read seeing a luminary on somebody else's like sensitive points of like that. I mean, that might be great. You know, that might be something that we like to look at in that way. But when it's a really sensitive Taurus moon in an unprocessed kind of way,
Hmm.
no, thank you. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like we could talk about this forever. I know you have a hard stop in just a couple
Yeah.
minutes. So I just wanted to ask if there's any last minute thing you wanted to say about this or like tie it back to the card that you got, the Three of Pentacles, if you're feeling that.
Well, we certainly talked about a lot of earth signs, didn't we?
We did. And the people who built the foundation of who you are.
Yeah.
You know, your dad influenced you, but who really sculpted that? You know, were you the
Yeah.
one who truly sculpted who you were despite the hardships that you experienced, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's coming back to that square conversation we were having about like butting heads. Sometimes you need resistance in order to grow. And I wonder if your dad offered you some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel, I mean, I think I might feel more survivor's guilt than a lot of things because my brother, it's almost like my brother didn't really make it through our childhood. So,
And do you
uh,
feel like that was mostly like mental health issue wise or because of the support or lack of support that he received in childhood?
well, it's both, right? To like to have this like this kind of inclination towards being unwell, and then to have other people kind of put their stuff on you in that way. I'm saying like, no, you're fine. You just need to do this instead
Mhm.
of like listening and hearing what you in particular like need and want
Mhm.
and all that. Um, I don't know why I'm continuing to pull up another chart when like I know I need to wrap up in the next couple minutes. I just like this was the last chart I had prepared. So this outer ring is I call her my Mima. She's my also my grandma, but she's my dad's mom. And I'm just immediately looking at her Chiron being on this stack, uh,
Wow.
Moon, Mercury. And I'm seeing her Jupiter right here at, my Gemini stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah,
I
just
wonder if she'll come up more this next couple years with Uranus transiting over that.
maybe, yeah, maybe. Um,
Venus is there right now. So
yeah,
that's kind of nice too, giving her a little sweetness too of attention because she's passed on as well, I'm assuming.
she has. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, she'd be like 96 this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Well, I feel like you're being called to your ancestry for some kind of reason. And it seems like, again, that the parental axis is being activated for you, that fourth versus the 10th house. So you
mhm.
really being informed by your ancestors seems important with what you're building. So just remember, as you're building, you're never alone. And even though you might have inherited things that are not as good, sometimes that's great compost to create what you do want.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I hope that this was helpful and illuminating for you in some kind of way that can be healing and not just like traumatizing. Because I know we went pretty deep. I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
to cover
I
some.
mean, I might be a little bit too comfortable talking about like the dark parts of the things.
Sure.
But I feel like it's important to not just like make it nice just for comfort. Um, because it's just like the truth of it. So, because I know that folks watching, like you're gonna find some uncomfortable stuff when you look at your family stuff, like even those of us who like grew up thinking like, wow, I had such a nice childhood. um there's going to be stuff that you find and like, oh, I have to feel uncomfortable now. And
Hmm.
yeah, I really appreciate getting to look through all these charts with you. I feel like you notice stuff that I have never picked up on before, even though like I didn't find these charts recently. I've had access to all of them for years already. um and this is just stuff that I hadn't noticed in that way. So I had never thought to compare. I'm gonna go compare my dad's chart with my grandma's chart.
Oh, I would see maybe someday we do a follow-up because I feel like we should revisit this and see more. And maybe after you sleep on it and like marinate on some of the things that we talked about, more things will come to light. Like, oh my gosh, remember that childhood memory? And then that makes sense or whatever. So maybe we do
Yeah,
that in the near future.
yeah, I'd like that.
Well, Alanna, where can people find you if they want to get more insights from you?
I have a website. It is sacredshadowAstrology.com. I have been taking a break, unfortunately, from writing my moon letters just because everything seems to be happening at the same time for me right now. But it's the intention is in my heart to come back to my moon letters very soon. But that's where folks can contact me if they want to dive into a reading with me. Yeah, that's
So
where
do
I am.
you specialize in anything astrologically? I know you talked a little bit about relocation, or what do you specialize in?
Yeah, I love talking about relocation. I've actually done a lot of like work with synastry and relocation at the same time. That's kind of like been the theme of like what folks have been bringing to me lately, and it is so juicy. It's so good. Um, but yeah, I love getting to just dive into whatever's calling. I actually I had to be real with myself in the last like year and stop booking people for an hour session, and I'm just like, it's just 90 minutes because I can't shut up. So
It can go so deep. I feel you.
yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, I mean, as we're finding trying to talk about this now. So
Well, and do you also want to drop a little info about your tax stuff or like business?
oh yeah, I am a bookkeeper. Um And I specialize in working with people who have like very small businesses. And my kind of like my niche are folks who they're in the healing professions, they're creatives, they're artists, and I'm here to be the math brain for them. So helping like facilitate that happen brings me so much joy. So
And
yeah.
just shout out to Alanna because I use Alanna's services for my small business. And how can people reach you for booking that?
That is at bff-bookkeeping.com, or you can always just scroll down on my other website and you'll find a link that says I'm your Virgo bestie. But my websites link to each other that way because I think I'm so clever. Um, and also Virgo bestie.
Yeah, everyone needs a Virgo bestie.
I
Okay.
think it's true.
Yeah,
We make the world go round.
definitely. Well, I'll link that in information in the show notes. And if you want to book with me as well, I'm at fortuneofthefool.com or at fortuneofthefool on Instagram. We do events here in Denver. And also I do private readings. So if you want astrology, psychic, or tarot readings, I'm also doing Reiki and things like that. I'm like forever learning new things. So if you want any
Mm.
of those things, please reach out to me there. And I think that's what we've got for you today. Anything else?
Can I just say that anybody who gets a reading with you is just deeply lucky, and like I'm just getting this like visual memory of when you sat down next to me when we met in Norwalk and you're just like, "Here, have a card." And it's like the first time we spoke to each other, but you said this like deeply insightful like thing that like left me inspired. And like honestly, I think more I was like more present at Norwalk, I think, because of what you said to me.
Oh,
Um, I still have that card. It's right here.
which one? Number two, answer. What answer did you get?
You know what? I just remember you just being like, oh yeah, Gemini, you're like looking like from the inside and the outside or something. Like I don't even remember what you said. It's just like the impact of it in the moment like brought me so just deeply into the present. So
Wow. Well, thanks for hyping me up.
yeah, I think anyone who has an opportunity to work with you is just they should take that opportunity.
Wow. Well, and I feel the same with you. Like you've literally changed my life in so many positive ways. And we're coming up on our 1 year friend anniversary. So maybe
Yeah,
we do something special for that.
that's so cute. I
Yeah.
love it.
Alrighty, my friend. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And stay foolish, friends. Bye.
Bye.